जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रज जन रंजना जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय यमुना तीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा जय कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा माधव राधे जय राधा माधव राधे जय जय जगन्नाथ जय बलदेवा जय सुभद्रा जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव जय जय गुरुदेव नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल प्रभुपाद गुरुदेव हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव माई की जय नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय शील प्रभुपाद की जय श्री गुरुदेव टैगोर ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supremest human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashta prayesha badreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati neshtiki. By regular attendance in classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering our service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mata is. Thank you for joining and keeping the appointment with Krishna today, 30th of July 2025. And today we'll be discussing the last verse of this fourth canto, 14th chapter, verse number 46. Tasya vamshastu naishada girikānana gochara yenāharajjāyamāno vena kalmashamulbanam. Tasya vamshastu naishada girikānana gochara yenāharajjāyamāna vena kalmashamulbanam. Yes, you can recite.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Tasya vamshastu naishada girikānana gocharaha yena harajjaya jayamano vena kalmashamulbanam. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Anybody else wants to recite?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, ma'am.
Tasya vamsyastu naishada girikānana gocharaha yena harajjayamano vena kalmasham ulbanam. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Dhanyavad.
Thank you, ma'am. Synonymous word to word meaning. Tasya, his, nishadas, vamshyaha, descendants, tu, then, naishadaha, called naishadas, girikanana, the hills and forests, gocharaha, inhabiting, yena, because, aharat, he took upon himself, jayamanaha, being born, vena, of King Vena, kalmasham, all kinds of sin, ulbanam, very fearful. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. After his Nishada's birth, he immediately took charge of all the resultant actions of King Vena's sinful activities. As such, this Naishada class are always engaged in sinful activities like stealing, plundering, and hunting. Consequently, they are only allowed to live in the hills and forests. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Naishadas are not allowed to live in cities and towns because they are sinful by nature. As such, their bodies are very ugly and their occupations are also sinful. We should, however, know that even these sinful men, who are sometimes called Kiratas, can be delivered from their sinful condition to the topmost Vaishnava platform by the mercy of a pure devotee. Engagement in the transcendental loving devotional service of the Lord can make anyone, however sinful he may be, fit to return home back to Godhead. One has only to become free from all contamination by the process of devotional service. In this way, everyone can become fit to return home back to Godhead. This is confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 9.32. Mam hi partha vyapashritya yepi syukshpapayonayah striyo vaishyas tata shudras te priyanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter of me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, as well as Shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the 4th canto, 14th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Story of King Vena. Om Jnanatimarandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunathamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakavitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasa Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yontap Pravishya Mamavacham Imam Prasuptam Sanjeevayati Akila Shakti Dharaswadamna Anyam च हस्तचरण श्रवण त्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते महाविष्णुस्वामिति नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम. So Hare Krishna Parismatais, thank you for joining. So auspicious to hear Bhagavatam, to read Bhagavatam, to recite Bhagavatam. So just by hearing, one gets purified. See, this chapter is entitled The Story of King Vena. As you already know, he's a very notorious king. And he was the son of King Anga, who was a very pious and wonderful king. So actually King Vena is coming under the lineage of Dhruva Maharaj, right? So but because of his notorious activities, people were totally frustrated, even the Brahmanas. So ultimately, by the help of mantras, due to the emergency situation, they killed him by just mantras. But the point is, somebody has to be there in the disciplic succession as a king. So they had to bring somebody from the body of Vena. So those days, the mantras were so powerful that it was possible to, from that body itself, they could create a body. So through the mantras and all, from the thighs of King Vena, the Brahmanas, they created a person. So this person, born from King Vena's thighs, was named Bahuka. And his complexion was, as in the 44th translation, Prabhupada said, his complexion was as black as a crow. So all the limbs of his body were short, his arms and legs were short, his jaws were large, his nose was flat, his eyes were reddish, and his hair copper colored. And in the translation of 45th verse, he says that he was very submissive and meek. And immediately after his birth, he bowed down and inquired, "Sirs, what shall I do?" So the great sages replied, "Please sit down." That is Nishada. So thus Nishada, the father of Nishada race, was born. So we saw in this translation of the 46 current verse, which we are going to discuss, where Prabhupada says, after his, that is Nishada's birth, what did he do? He immediately took charge of what? He took charge of kingdom? No. All the resultant actions of King Vena's sinful activities. So therefore, this Nishada class are always engaged in sinful activities like what? Stealing, plundering, hunting. So they were only allowed, therefore, what happened consequently? They are only allowed to live in the hills and forests. That's why in the purport, Prabhupada says, no, the Naishadas are not allowed to live in cities and towns because they are sinful by nature. As such, their bodies are very ugly and their occupations are also sinful. But Prabhupada makes the next statement, he says, we should, however, know that even these sinful men, see, they are very sinful, okay? But Prabhupada says, we should however know that even these sinful men, who are sometimes called Kiratas, can be delivered from their sinful condition to the topmost Vaishnava platform by the mercy of a pure devotee. See, Kirata, right? In the second canto, 4th chapter, 18th verse. Kirata hunandra pulinda pulkasha abhir shumbha yavana kashadayah yanyecha papa yadapashrayashrayah shuddyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. So translation, Prabhupada says, Kirata, he was referring to Kirata. Kirata, Huna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumba, Yavana, and members of the Khasa races, and even others who are all addicted to sinful acts. All these can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord due to the Supreme Being, due to his being the Supreme Power, Krishna, right? So I beg to offer my respectful obeisance to him. So, Kirata means it's actually a province of the old Bharatavarsha, which is mentioned in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. So generally, the Kiratas are known as the aboriginal tribes of India. And in modern days, the Santal Parganas in Bihar and the Chota Nagpur, they might comprise the old province named Kirata. Then Huna, the area of East Germany and part of Russia, is known as the province of Hunas. So accordingly, sometimes a kind of hill tribe is known as the Hunas. So each one of them has been very beautifully described in this verse. You can go through that 2, 4, 18 in the purport, very nicely given. In fact, the last paragraph of this 2, 4, 18, Prabhupada says, the conclusion is that being all powerful can under any and every circumstance accept anyone from any part of the world. That is, the Lord can accept any part of the world, anybody, under any condition, either personally or through his bona fide manifestation as a spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya accepted many devotees from communities other than the Varnashramites, right? And he himself declared to teach us that he does not belong to any caste or social order of life, but that he is the eternal servant of the Lord who maintains the damsels of Vrindavana. That is the way of self-realization. So anybody can come up to the topmost position, whether it's like used to Kiratas, then Nishadas. So that is the power of the devotional service. See, every one of us, come across difficult moments and even perplexing situations in our lives. See, when we don't know how to handle some situation or what decision to take, everybody, each one of us, right, would have definitely come across this. Not only in various stages like the admission of the child or marriage, so many things, right? Settling down a person. See, lives of great devotees are examples for us to follow. See, when Arjuna, he faced such perplexing situations in his life, what did he do? He always surrendered to Krishna. And he was seeking instructions from Krishna. See, both in the beginning of the war of Kurukshetra and as well as during the time of war and in the end also, we find in all the situations, Arjuna sought for Krishna's guidance. See, when Ashwatthama, he released the fiery Brahmastra, right, to kill the race of Pandavas. There is a scorching heat in all directions. So Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, very beautifully explains how Arjuna first offers wonderful praise, glorifying Krishna. and then makes his inquiry. 1:7:27, Arjuna says, O Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand it. So Prabhupada, in his lectures on these verses, no, he also insists that how accepting Guru should not be done for fashion, but it should be done in a submissive mood in order to know about the ultimate benefit of our life. That's why Guru is required, but not for fashion. So that when we submissively accept a Guru, to know about the ultimate benefit of our life, which we don't know, right? So it is not just sufficient to approach Guru and make inquiries, but it is very important to follow his instructions as it is. Only then our life will be successful. See, we may claim that we are not fortunate like Arjuna to talk with Krishna directly. But by the causeless mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we are fortunate enough to get the association of various acharyas in our parampara, who are all Krishna's representatives. So, we should take shelter of those great Mahatmas, inquire from them, accept their guidance, and follow their instructions as life and soul. That's what Prabhupada did. He just accepted the instructions of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, his spiritual master. He said, preach to the West in English, print books. So he took that instruction as his life and soul. Then there is hope for attaining perfection. That's why in Bhagavatam, just now we saw 2:4:18, Shukadeva Goswami says, how all the races of people are purified simply by surrendering to the devotees of the Lord. In one of his lectures on the verse 1:7:40, Prabhupada says, so here is Krishna's direction. You take always Krishna's direction. Then that is bhakti. And you remain Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. 14.26 Bhagavad Gita says, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. You are always immune from the sinful reactions of this material world, but just by taking the directions of Krishna. See, actually, Prabhupada says, actually, you have to follow the orders of Krishna. Just like Arjuna is being advised, right? You simply follow Krishna, simply follow. Not that whimsically he was going to punish Ashwatthama, right? Under direction of Krishna, he was doing that, Arjuna. Similarly, in every step of our life, if you take Krishna's directions or his representative's direction, then you are safe. In one of his letters, dated September 9, 1972, to his disciples, Srila Prabhupada says, you mentioned that your pathway has become filled with stumbling blocks. Somebody might have written, some disciples to Prabhupada. So he is mentioning, you mentioned that your pathway has become filled with stumbling blocks. So Prabhupada is replying, but there are no stumbling blocks. I can kick out all those stumbling blocks immediately, provided you accept my guidance. With one stroke of my kick, I can kick out all stumbling blocks. So beautifully is given. Just surrender unto Krishna, surrender to the instructions of Prabhupada's purpose. See, it just happens that when we speak about Krishna to some people, they hear, okay. And finally they will say, Prabhu, we are low-class people. How can we do all this process? I mean, we are not qualified. That's why Prabhupada refers to verse 9.32 in this purport itself, right? Bhagavad Gita 9.2 clearly states that there is no need of the class or race or religion for taking the name of Krishna. Mam hi partha vipashritya yepi syu papa yoneha striyo vaishyas tata shudras tepi yanti param gatim. It says, O son of Pratha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of a lower birth, women, Vaishyas, merchants, and Shudras, workers, can attain the supreme destination. Krishna says that definitely it can be done. So Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purport of this verse, it clearly describes that there is no distinction between the lower and higher class of people. Everyone can take up the process of bhakti to attain the supreme destination. Everyone can take shelter of Lord Krishna by remembering him and by performing devotional service to Krishna. See, remembering Krishna is a glorious activity. And not remembering Krishna is a sinful activity. Very nice, right? Remember Krishna is a glorious activity. Not remembering Krishna is a sinful activity. So Krishna and devotional service go hand in hand. So if you want to take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna, we need to perform devotional service, loving devotional service. In performing the loving devotional service, we can remember Krishna all the time. So devotional process of hearing and Shravanam, Kirtanam, right? Hearing, reading, reciting about the glories of Krishna, it will make us remember Krishna all the time. You might have already seen this in a Brahmana and cobbler story. Even though the cobbler was born in a low-class family, he always remembered Krishna with full faith. And he attained the supreme destination. So this shows that anyone can attain the supreme destination if one performs the devotional service with full faith. What happens if one takes shelter of Krishna is clearly explained in 6:1:15 of Srimad Bhagavatam. 6, Canto, 1st chapter, 15th verse. It says, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agam dhunvanti katsniyena niharam iva bhaskaraha. Only a rare person who has adopted complete, unalloyed devotional service to Krishna can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive. He can do this simply by discharging devotional service, just as the sun can immediately dissipate fog by its rays. So this word, the word parayanaha, that is completely attached to Krishna, is very specific. That is to completely surrender and take the shelter in the lotus feet of Krishna. See, once we adopt that attachment towards Krishna, we are surrendered to Krishna. And Krishna will take out all our ignorance by sending his pure devotee to guide us in the right path of devotional service in full faith. We need not go in search of, it's not a department store, a mall, or something where you in search of spiritual masters. By your sincerity, Krishna will send. So he will send his pure devotee to guide us. On the other hand, verse 9.3 Bhagavad Gita says, Ashraddhadhana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsar Vatmani. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world. So here Lord Krishna is directly instructing us that those who are not faithful in devotional service, they cannot attain him, and they return to the path of birth and death in the material world again. May not be in the human birth, in any 84 lakh species. So it is chance we should not miss to take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna and attain the supreme destination. See, never mind wherever we are born. Just let us start the process of bhakti with full faith in Krishna, and we can definitely achieve the supreme destination. See, we can know Krishna in full only by reading Bhagavad Gita, only by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, only by chanting, nothing else. These three things are very important. BBC. Remember BBC, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and chanting. See, in Krishna's creations, there are so many very varieties, right? So we can see that no two living entities are alike. Each one of them they have unique qualities, as by the previous karma and Krishna's wish. See, a sober person will see Krishna's hand in all the such variegatedness, and he will not comment or compare or criticize someone based on the external appearance or abilities they possess. No. But unfortunately, many people in this material world, they would judge us by our appearance, wealth, education, professional qualification, family heritage, so and so. So if we lack in these things, we'll be criticized and mocked. Also in material terms, we'll be appreciated or considered successful only when our endeavors bears fruitful results. But if there are no fruits, then no one will consider the hard work or efforts behind the job. So much judgment being done by people around, right? We will simply be considered as a failure. But Krishna is such a kind, loving father, he doesn't bother about the externals. That's why in Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Krishna assures, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo na Vidyate Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. See, when the Setu Bandhan bridge was being built, Lord Ram considered the effort of a squirrel equal to that of Hanuman and the other monkey soldiers. So, the Lord does not gauge or judge us by our appearance, but is only considered with our internals, our behavior, the mood of service. That is why Prithu Maharaj, he encourages his citizens with a very instructive words. He says 4:21:33, where he shows the way to achieve real success. Where Prithu Maharaj advised his citizens, engaging your minds, your words, your bodies, and the results of your occupational duties, and being always open-minded, you should all render devotional service to the Lord. According to your abilities and occupations in which you are situated, you should engage your service at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead with full confidence and without reservation. Then you will surely be successful in achieving the final objective in your lives. See, the phrase yatadhikara means as far as our ability allows. See, everybody cannot be the greatest. They have different abilities. So according to their abilities, we need not make any artificial adjustments to our situation, but just need to simply engage our body, mind, and words in the service of Krishna. BMW, body, mind, and words in service, according to whatever situation the Lord has placed us. So another important word which is worth meditating in this verse is amayinaha, which means without any reservation. See, we should be frank and open-minded in devotional service, as well as in our dealings with others. See, if we interact with a closed mind and with a lot of reservations, then what happens? The relationship, be it spiritual or material, it will be strained. And then we will be behaving in a duplicit manner. Saying something, doing something. So being duplicit, that means we are destroying our own selves. So we should serve Krishna and his devotees honestly, without any duplicity. See, in his unparalleled purport, to this verse, Prabhupada mentions, even a Shudra, who is in the lowest stage of life, according to the material qualities, can achieve the same success. Anyone can become successful in devotional service, provided he displays no duplicity. It is explained that one must be very frank and open-minded. Amayinha. So to be situated in lower status of life is not a disqualification for success in devotional service. No. The only qualification is whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, he must be open, frank, and free from reservations. Prabhupada again further says, then by performing his particular occupational duty under the guidance of a proper spiritual master, he can achieve the highest success in life. See, as confirmed by Krishna himself, Striyo Vaishyas Tata Shudras Te Api Yanti Parampati 9.32 he says. So, it does not matter whether one is whether a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra or degraded woman. If one engages himself seriously in devotional service, seriously, working with body, mind and intelligence, is sure to be successful in going back home, back to Godhead. So, even if there are so many struggles and failures in our lives, let us take courage and guidance from Prithu Maharaj and sincerely endeavor to serve Guru and Krishna without any duplicity. Then in the end of the life, we'll be able to go back to their lotus feet. Human birth should be used for serving Radha Krishna. Harinam is a remedy for the poison of worldliness. It's a beautiful bhajan. Manasadi, no, not Manasadi. It's very nice, I forgot that. Yeah, the third line I remember now. Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachi Shuta Hoilo Sei Balarama Hoilo Nitai Dina Hina Jata Chilo Harinama Udharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madai. Brajendra Nandana Jai Shachi Shuta Hoilo Sei Balarama Hoilo Nitai Dina Hina Jata Chilo Harinama Udharilo Tara Sakshi Jagai Madai. This is Hari Hari Bifale. Beautiful bhajan. So this translation says, Lord Krishna, who is the son of King Vraja, became the son of Shachi, Lord Chaitanya. And Balarama became Nitai. The holy name delivered all those souls who were lowly and wretched. The two sinners, Jagai and Madai, are evidence of this. So Harinam can deliver even the most sinful persons. So Narottama Das Thakur, Hari Hari Bifale, the beautiful song, bhajan, which Srila Prabhupada loves this. That the treasure trove Harinam Sankirtana is imported directly from Goloka Vrindavan. Golokera prema dhan Harinam Sankirtana. So in this verse, he gives information about who imported this Harinam from Goloka. He says Brajendra Nandana. That is, Krishna, who is the son of the king Vraja, has now appeared as the son of Shachi Mata. And Lord Balrama has appeared as Nityananda. And both of them are delivering all kinds of fallen souls. The fallen souls may be the topmost drunkards or woman hunters, right? But still they were given the holy name and delivered by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. So Narottam Das Thakur, he cites the example of Jagai and Madai, who were born in a Brahmana family, but were meat eaters, drunkards, women hunters, rogues, and thieves. So Jagai and Madai chanted the name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by way of blasphemy. But because they simply chanted his name, immediately became free from the reactions of sinful activities. So Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu reclaimed all conditions and sinful souls simply by distributing the transcendental chanting process. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So in this way, by citing an example, Narottam Das Thakur explains that in this age, Kali Yuga, although people are as sinful as Jagai and Madai, but if they take to this Krishna consciousness movement and chant Hare Krishna, they will be delivered, undoubtedly, no doubt. So Prabhupada tells that this is the blessing of Lord Chaitanya. So Harinam can destroy all our sins, even if committed in this lifetime or if any in previous lifetimes. Harinam can be compared to lighting a lamp in a cave, which is either dark since 1 year or dark since thousands of years. Both the caves will get rid of the darkness, irrespective of the age of the darkness of the cave. But one cannot take advantage of this point and commit sins. No, don't be careless. It'll be just like an elephant taking bath and then showering itself with mud immediately. Also, it is an offense to the holy name to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. See, in the 11th canto, 2nd chapter of Bhagavatam, this conversation between Maharaj Nimi and the Navayogendras. There was one question: what is the supreme good and how to engage in devotional service to the Lord? So in response to this question, Kavi, one of the Navayogendras, he began to explain how devotional service unto the lotus feet of Supreme Lord alone can give one fearlessness. So 11:2-34 Bhagavatam, Kavi says, even ignorant living entities can very easily come to know the Supreme Lord if they adopt those means prescribed by the Supreme Lord himself. The process recommended by the Lord is to be known as Bhagavata Dharma or devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here we find that Kavi is assuring that devotional service is supreme good for all people because it is recommended by Supreme Lord himself. So Kavi is repeating the words of Supreme Lord and is not telling anything from his own imagination. So we can see that in Bhakti, all the devotees show us by their practical example that all we need to do is attentively hear, practice, and pass on the message of the Lord from authority sources in disciplic succession. If there is any fault in hearing, practicing, or transmitting the message as it is, then neither we will have any progress in spiritual life, nor will we be able to help others in their progress. So the word avidusham in this verse is worth meditating. Avidusham means one who is less intelligent or ignorant. So when we take up any service in the material world, we require so many qualifications. No one will like to employ a dull person, correct? But here Krishna is so kind that he does not ask for any educational qualifications or any scholarly knowledge. He said only graduates should come to the Krishna consciousness. No. Lord is Bhava Grahi Janardana. He just accepts our loving attitude and eagerness to serve him. If living entity simply surrenders to Krishna, abides by his words, then Krishna reveals himself to that person. See, many years ago, there lived a very nice devotee called Puntanam in Guruvayur, Kerala. He was not well versed in Sanskrit. So what happened, his Sanskrit pronunciations were not up to the mark. But still, for the pleasure of Lord, he used to recite prayers in front of Guruvayurappan, that is Krishna deity in Guruvayur. So once, when he was wrongly reciting Padmanabha Maraprabhu, Padmanabha Maraprabhu instead of Padmanabha Amaraprabhu. So in Malayalam, Maraprabhu means the Lord of trees. And in Sanskrit, Amaraprabhu means Lord of immortals. So hearing him recite wrongly, other priests, who are all well versed in Sanskrit, they made fun of him and scolded him. Immediately, there was a celestial voice from the inner shrine. It says, I am also Maraprabhu. So Lord also told them that henceforth, whenever they recite, they should address him as Maraprabhu. So we can see how Krishna did not mind his ignorance, but just accepted his innocent devotional mood and supported him personally when he was criticized by others for his ignorance. But the problem with us is that although we are ignorant, we don't want to accept it, and we think that we are very clever. When we approach the Acharyas and Krishna with this mindset, then we will never be able to receive the gift of this transcendental knowledge from them. Not possible. See, just like how it is very easy to write in a clear slate, easy to fill water in an empty glass, we should also honestly accept our ignorance when we approach Guru and Krishna. My Guru Maharaj, you will always say, you can be a rascal. You may not have any knowledge of the scriptures. You may not have any material education. No money, nothing. I am not interested in those things. If you obey me 10%, that is all I want. That is enough. You leave Krishna to me, and I will handle Krishna on your behalf. So simple obedience to the words of Guru, Acharyas and Krishna will help us to go closer to the Lord and free us from all kinds of fears in this material world. So this Puntanam, he wrote Gyanapanna, the song of divine, the fountain of divine wisdom, right? So very nice pastime of Puntanam is lot of there, but time is of essence. See, in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 14th chapter, when Arjuna returns from Dwarka to Hastinapura, Yudhishthira Maharaj could realize that his face was lacking the usual charm. So, with great concern, Yudhishthira Maharaj inquires him about the various reasons due to which Arjuna is looking dejected. So, in the concluding verse of this chapter, 114, 44th verse, Yudhishthira Maharaj diagnoses the correct reason for Arjuna's dejection. So, he inquires. He's inquiring with Arjuna, or is it that you are feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? Oh, my brother Arjuna, I can think of no other reason for your becoming so dejected. So in this verse, he's making about, he's referring to Lord Krishna, who was the most intimate friend of Arjuna. See, this is the universal reason for dejection in our lives also, not just for the Pandavas, because they are missing Krishna, right? So when we fail to have our dearest friend Krishna in our lives, then we are bound to be dejected. In his wonderful class on this verse, Prabhupada very nicely mentions that on one hand, devotees love Krishna and engage themselves in his service, dedicate their whole life in his service. And accordingly, Krishna also loves the devotees and always looks forward eagerly to serve the devotees. So in this context, Prabhupada very nicely says, as the devotee always thinks of Krishna, similarly, Krishna also thinks of the devotee. He thinks more, actually. That is the reciprocation. Ye yata mam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham. 4.11 Bhagavad Gita. If you think of Krishna 24 hours, Krishna will think of you 26 hours. Krishna is so kind. If you do some service for Krishna, Krishna will reward you 100 times. But people, they do not want. They think, what we shall benefit by serving Krishna? Let us serve my dog. You see, this is the misunderstanding. So Prabhupada is revealing to us the glorious nature of Lord Shri Krishna. The very nice, in fact, in the nice bhajan, Gujarati bhajan composed by Narsi Mehta, right? Where he says, it's a Gujarati bhajan, Koi no bhar na rakhe Murari, ape vyaj sate manamali. Lord Murari does not keep any debt with him. DBT, debt, debit, something he has to return. No. So Lord Murari does not keep any debt with him. He returns it along with interest. He gives that song, no, gives nice examples of Sudama, Kubja, Draupadi, Vrajavasis. See, Sudama just gave a handful of chipped rice to Krishna, and Krishna in return gave him a golden palace. Kubja gave him little sandalwood paste, and in return to that insignificant favor, Krishna straightened her hunchback and made her a beautiful girl. Once, when Krishna's finger was injured and was bleeding, Draupadi, without hesitation, tore a piece of her sari and bandaged Krishna's finger. In return to that small favor, Krishna supplied 999 saris and protected her when Dushasan was trying to strip her sari off in front of everyone. Vrajavasis were always obedient to him and just served the bhoga to Govardhan as instructed by Krishna. In return, Krishna carried the Govardhan hill to protect them from the wrath of Indra. See, the root cause of our moroseness is forgetfulness of Krishna. So when a devotee remembers Krishna, he reciprocates manifold. One of them is Sant Sakubai, was a great devotee of Lord Vittala. Okay, so her parents were great devotees of Lord and lived in a village near Pandharpur. Initially, they were childless. So pleased with their devotion, Lord Vittala appeared in their dream and said they would soon be blessed with a beautiful girl child. And they named the child as Sakubai. See, right from childhood, Sakubai was always absorbed in singing bhajans, glorifying the Lord. She always longed to marry Lord Vittala. But providential arrangement, she had to marry the groom chosen by her parents. Her husband and mother-in-law, they could never appreciate the loving devotion she had, right? And always ill-treated her. But she served them with love and respect. She was always burdened with lot of household work. But in spite of all this, while milking the cow, cleaning the house, cooking, mopping the house, she would always be thinking and chanting about Vittala. That's why in Bhagavatam 10:46-46, there's a nice description of how the gopis did the household course. Or as the ladies of Raja loudly sang the glories of Lord, the lotus-eyed Krishna, their songs blended with the sound of the churning, ascended to the sky, and dissipated all inauspiciousness in every direction. So we should chant the names, hear the recite the shlokas, sing the bhajans in a very humble, wonderful mood, right? See, in the life of Sakubai also, we can see how Lord was very pleased with her simple, loving devotion. Once Sakubai heard a group of devotees chanting in Lord Vittala's names. Vittala, Vittala, Panduranga, Vittala. So when she approached them, she came to know that they were on the way to Pandharpur to have darshan of Lord Vittala on the auspicious day of Ashadha Ekadashi. So her eagerness to have darshan of Lord increased. So she asked them if she could join them. Now the devotee said that if she could get permission from her family, then she could come. Both her husband and mother-in-law refused to give permission, and they tied her to a pillar in the house so she could not move or leave. See, bearing all these slaps from her family, she prayed very fervently to Lord Vittala, expressing her desire to see him. So at night, Lord Vittala appeared in her form, just like Sakubai, and told Sakubai that she can leave for the yatra and that he would take care of everything at home. So Sakubai happily left the house and went to Pandharpur. As she walked all the way to Pandharpur, she was singing and dancing and remembering the Lord. On the auspicious day of Ashadha Ekadashi, she entered the sanctum sanctorium, drank the nectar of Lord's darshan through her eyes, and touched the Lord's lotus feet. Singing his glories, she left her body and attained eternal association of the Lord in Goloka. Meanwhile, at her home, Lord Vittala was personally doing all the household chores of Sakubai in such a manner that both her husband and mother-in-law could not realize her absence. So when the devotees from Pandharpur came to her home to disclose the sad news of departure of Sakubai on Ashad Ekadashi in Pandharpur, her husband and mother-in-law could not believe, as they were staying with Sakubai all the time. At this point, Lord Vitala, who was serving in the form of Sakubai, disappeared from their vision. And then everyone gathered realized that it was Lord Vitala's loving reciprocation to Sakubai's devotion. So, life of Sakubai shows us that one may be born as a woman, or in a poor family, or be in a family which is very unfavorable to do devotional service, or may have inimical people as one's relatives, but nothing can be an impediment to do bhakti. When one does his or her prescribed duties sincerely and surrenders to Krishna, he reciprocates in an inconceivable manner. That's why in Bhagavatam 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, verse number 15, the sages of Naimisharanya very nicely share how glorious was Maharaj Parikshit's childhood. Savai Bhagavato Raja Pandavayo Maharatah Bala Kridanakai Kridan Krishna Kridam Yadade. Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of the Pandavas, was from his very childhood a great devotee of the Lord. Even while playing with dolls, he used to worship Lord Krishna by imitating the worship of the family deity. So in this was the word Bhagavat and Maharata. They are worth meditating. See, Prabhupada very nicely translated the word Bhagavat as great devotee of the Lord and as a great fighter. So Parikshit Maharaj was a Bhagavata as well as Maharata. See, his being a great devotee did not stop him from being a great fighter. Prabhupada describes in his lecture that a Kshatriya is called a Maharataha, who is able to fight against 1000 charioteers in a war. See, many times people wrongly think that if one is absorbed in devotional service, he would be a dumb person. But Lord Krishna mentions that one of the qualities of devotee is that he is a daksha. Daksha means expert. So while praying to Supreme Lord, Mother Devaki addresses him in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.3.24 as Adhyatma Deepaha, the light of all transcendental knowledge. That is, knowing you, one knows everything. Yasmin Vigyate Sarvam Evam Vigyatam Bhavati. So by causeless mercy of Supreme Lord, devotee is able to excel in his prescribed duties as well. Another lesson which we could learn from this verse is that one's role in any four of the varnas or ashramas also does not stop one from doing pure devotional service or becoming a Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada very nicely says in his lecture, so a great commander can also become Bhagavata. A great merchant can also become a Bhagavata. Great Brahmana, learned scholar, he can also become a Bhagavata. There is no restriction. Not just simply one who is a Vedantist, who is a well-learned scholar, only he can become Bhagavata. No. The social system was so nice that everyone could become a Bhagavata. That is, the Brahmana could become a Bhagavata, Kshatriya could become a Bhagavata, Vaishya could become a Bhagavata, Shudra could also become a Bhagavata. So we can see from the lives of so many devotees that how bhakti is not conditional. It is universal. Everyone, even women who were prostitutes by profession, had unalloyed devotion to Krishna. So in the examples of prostitutes who tried to disturb Haridas Thakur or one who tried to defame Dukharam, we see both of them, by their association with pure devotees, repented for their bad intentions and became very great devotees. So instead of giving lame excuses, owing to our own lethargic attitude, we should simply surrender to Supreme Lord Krishna and try honestly, to the best of our individual ability, to serve them with all the loving devotional service should be there. So that's why Prabhupada in the 46th verse which we are discussing, that purport he says, engagement in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, engagement in the transcendental loving service, devotional service of the Lord, can make anyone, however sinful he may be, fit to return home back to Godhead. One has only to become free from all contamination by the process of devotional service. In this way, everyone can become fit to return home back to Godhead. Granthrat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Vancha Kalpatarubhishcha, Kripa Sindhubhaivacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo, Ananta Koti Vaishnava. So thank you very much, Louis Mataji, for this opportunity to glorify the Lord and purify ourselves. If you have any questions or anything, point which is stuck with you, is useful for you to put it in your daily practice, you can share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for wonderful explanation.
Thank you.
2 points that stuck really is Krishna doesn't keep anybody's debt. He pays and repays multifold with interest. So that's the interesting point. The other thing was the story of Sakubai.
Yes.
A simple mother can really transcend into and surrender herself into the lotus feet of the Lord. These are two very striking points out of today's conversation.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Very good takeaways, Prabhuji. We have only very nice excuses. I don't have time. My family do not support.
Mhm.
They are broken today, Prabhuji. Like I've heard this story earlier also from you only, but it moves me every time. That what are we doing? We are just putting excuses. There is no need of all these excuses. It can be done.
True. True, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I got an opportunity to watch this Sakubai movie long back, and it just came alive to me when you were narrating the story, and it felt like as if I was. You said it so beautifully that like as if you took us to Pandharpura and you showed us the darshan of Vitthal.
Hare
And
Krishna.
I think Mirabai too also is an similar example, no, Prabhuji,
Yes.
of pure devotional service and
Correct. True.
being a lady.
Yeah, all these devotees, they are already in the qualified devotees. But what
Yes,
this verse talks about is even the like Kiratas,
yes.
all those Aborigines, Nishadas, they can also be come to this topmost level. So how fortunate we are. We have already been given everything right in front of us. We have to just take it up. But we are making excuses. That's a sad state of affairs.
One small doubt, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Mataji.
When I mean the word Nishada, we also come across in Ramayana. Is it the same
Yeah, the
Nishada or
Nishada tribe. I think the Nishada
Nishad
tribe.
Raj?
Yeah, correct. I think
But
so.
he was totally devoted and he was a close friend of
Yeah,
Rama.
that's what maybe they can come up. That is a possibility. That's
Yes,
what I feel.
yes,
It doesn't mean by that name everybody will like that. We judge, no? We judge.
yes.
Oh, yeah, from this caste, this thing, you like that only. But
Mm.
can be brought up. That's the point to understand.
Wonderful class, Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
Gurudev ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I love to hear your classes and recordings. We love to listen again and again. So nicely you cover, Prabhuji. In that topic, you take shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, and in between Bhagavatam also you quote. And today Gujarati Kirtan lines you recited, and really we are blessed, Prabhuji. May God Krishna give you more power, knowledge, and strength
Hare Krishna.
to give us
Hare
more
Krishna.
knowledge, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
We are
Mataji.
touched by it. Thank you so
I am
much.
nothing but just following whatever Prabhupada and Guru are giving, just
So
sharing.
today I felt like expressing, Prabhuji. Normally I'm silent.
Thank you.
I was really moved with all the stories and the way you narrate, always connect Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam of different chapters, not connected to the same chapter. That is really great, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The Gujarati, because my Guru Maharaj was a Gujarati, so he used to quote many of Gujarati bhajan, especially Narasimha Mehta he loves. So just took it. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So thank you, Prabhupada Matajis. Hare Krishna for giving me this opportunity and thank you for keeping the appointment with Krishna today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I'll just close now. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Shri Prabhupada. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। हरे कृष्णा।